Hi, I'm Freddie Zeringue, and today I'd like to talk to you about the new paradigm of healing. Today I'd like to present to you the 5 basic methods of healing that you can start to do now that will take you to an entirely new level in regards to healing, whether it's emotional, mental, or physical. Separating yourself from the suffering is actually a very important paradigm to look at. We tend to suffer. The ego tends to hold us in a suffering pattern. By realizing the difference between the pain and the suffering and separating that, it is possible to actually have pain but not have the suffering that accompanies it. However, our ego would rather us live in the suffering. It keeps things focused on the inside and it keeps ego in control. As a matter of fact, Eckhart Tolle actually regarded suffering and pain as a pain body, a part that is born in the ego that holds on to the pain, and we go from one pain experience to the next pain experience. So what I would like you to know is that you can stop most of your suffering just by separating the pain from the suffering. The second thing you can do is you can distinguish between the pain and the suffering. This takes a great amount of consciousness. When we talk about distinguishing between the pain and the suffering, what we're doing is we're actually choosing to consciously separate those two through becoming conscious of the difference between who we are as an individual, who is the observer, versus what is the pain and what is the suffering. And if we do that, in very short time, we can actually release the suffering and reduce the pain. I basically was in a workshop a number of years ago and suddenly realized what the cause of my suffering was. By seeing the cause of my suffering, I suddenly ceased limping immediately. The 30 or 40 people that were there immediately saw a difference. And once I stopped limping and my body was given time to correct the dysfunction it had created with that, I actually found my pain reduced by at least 50% and was able to start leading a very happy life because the pain was manageable. Identifying the payoff is the third thing that you can do. Yes, I know. At this time, you probably want to just turn this off. Nobody wants to think of pain as having a payoff. But pain has a payoff, and if it didn't, your ego would discard it. We all have something we're getting out of the pain and the suffering that we incur. That's why we continue to go back to the pain. The payoff, in my case, when I went to the workshop, I saw immediately what that payoff was. When I saw the payoff, that's what helped me to separate immediately from the pain and the suffering. And when that happened, the limp went away. Just something as simple as understanding that we have a payoff no matter what we're experiencing, especially if we're experiencing it repeatedly, is a huge factor for most of us. I invite you to start immediately looking at what is the payoff that you're receiving. One of the most important things that people do, and they don't realize they're doing it, is they enroll people to beat them up. I know, if you haven't turned off the video by now, and the last question disturbed you, this question or this statement really disturbs you. And the reason why is because none of us want to think of ourselves as a victim. But yet we enroll people to constantly beat us up over our situation, condition, or circumstance, and the way that we're embracing it, we enroll people to do that only to find out that it is us that's creating that situation. We are the ones doing it. My favorite thing to tell people is I didn't only get people in my life that beat me up, but I've even paid people to beat me up. I get people in my life, whether it's at work, whether it's at home, that will literally put me down, make me feel crappy, all for the purposes of beating me up and making me suffer and be punished for the way that I am based on the pain that I experience. Therefore, one of the first things I had to personally do is I had to stop enrolling people to beat me up. It's very important to stop playing the victim. The fifth thing that you can do is leave the past in the past. The fact is, the most powerful thing you can do to heal from pain is release the past. And the most powerful thing you can do to perpetuate the pain is hold on to the past. The thing is it's gone. It's history. You don't need it anymore. It served you, it's done, it's gone. But we choose to hold on to the past and chew our pain. We tend to blame this person and that person, and that keeps us in this perpetual state of living in the past. As we live in the past, we disempower ourselves in the present. By leaving the past in the past, we get to be free. Now, talk therapy will certainly take away the past over a period of time. You work your way through each event. Unfortunately, you might be living that event again in your mind. Workshops, which are my favorite, tend to sort of break you through using processes, and every now and then when something comes up for someone, you get to identify with them and live it vicariously. Therefore, you don't have to go back through the past over and over and over to achieve that state of healing. What you can do is immediately get closure, immediately get resolution, and move straight into healing. And that's what we're all after. You get to choose. Do you want to hold on to your past, or do you want a new future with freedom? Free of pain, free of suffering. Since you've hung in this long, I'd like to give you a free bonus. Okay? The sixth thing you can do to healing is stop identifying with the condition. If a doctor told you you had cancer, you immediately refer to yourself as a cancer patient. However, it's more powerful to not identify yourself as a cancer patient and declare your health. You don't have to buy into the paradigm and turn around and actually validate their field of study. You can actually choose to validate yourself as whole and complete, releasing the past, not identifying with the illness. You don't have to say, this is my condition, this is my pain, this is my this, my that. Well, when I had my breakup and he left me or she left me for another person, notice the word my. Stop identifying yourself with the condition, and you'll find immediately how much freer you can be. That's where healing begins. I invite you to join a wave of healing and no longer live in the suffrage that you've become accustomed to. Allow yourself to experience freedom. Allow the mystery of life to unfold for you, and allow healing to take place. Thank you very much. I look forward to seeing you down the road.